First of all, I'm a mental health practitioner and a clinical psychologist, and I think that it's the right step in the right direction because we find people who are suffering under the weight of suicide, and because of the fact that it's been tagged a criminal offense, they can't come out. They can't access care. They are stigmatized. They are discriminated against. And that affects really these group of people who should actually access care. So it's a right step in the right direction, pulling together various stakeholders, enlightening the public and enlightening stakeholders as to the need to decriminalize, given the fact that it's a leading cause of death, particularly among youth in our nation. We're seeing more of it. It's not that more people are attempting suicide, it's just that people, the pressures of life is making people go that road more than before. People were doing it before, but because it's a criminal offense, because spiritually you are tagged as an unbeliever, somebody who can go to hell if you take your life. So people were doing it quietly and they will not talk. Then the fact that when it happens, the society ostracizes the family that is left behind. So even the family will not tell you that that's what happened. They will just tell you, we don't know. They just called us, oh, that he has died. That's how we saw it. But now, people, you are hearing about it, particularly because mental illness is on the increase. Again, what makes it on the increase is a lot of the challenges that we see in the world around us. Economic problems, family issues. So people are carrying a lot, and before you know it, they are not ashamed to say, I'm tired. Now, we always say that when people are attempting suicide, it's actually a cry for help. You know, to say, I'm tired. I want to end this thing. So that's why you are seeing the world is becoming more complicated. The challenges in the world is becoming more, and it's not just Nigeria, it's all over the world. So you find that people are more under pressure, and particularly in Nigeria, people don't access or seek mental health care. So they are struggling with it by themselves. He's sad, he's unhappy, he goes to drink, he gists with his friends. Before he knows it, it's not working. So one day he just tells himself, well, let me just finish my life so that you people can rest. And then he makes the attempt. And then we are hearing more about it. So that's the reason why we're hearing more about it. The problems are increasing. We have less people accessing mental health care, which is why there's a lot of talk now about mental health. Like this year, the theme of mental health is mental health in the workplace. Because people go to work. You go to work, you don't have enough money for transport. I know a young lady who said to me, she didn't come to church on Sunday. When we reached out to her to say, why didn't you come? He said, it's stinky. I was just thinking. And I just did not have the power to get up and enter a car and come to church. Wow. What was she thinking about? She has worked for 2 weeks. All her transport has finished. Jesus. She doesn't know where she will get money to transport herself for the remaining 2 weeks of the month. Meanwhile, she has not paid her children's school fees. She has not paid her house rent. So she's wondering, she said, I just tired saying, I should go to church and go and do what? What's making me happy? I'm not a happy person. Precious. So we're seeing more of this. That person, if you are not careful, if they don't have the required support group, one day she will just climb one place and say, I want to jump. Take care of my children for me. Of what use is my being alive when I cannot be a mother to them? So that's why we're seeing increased rates of this suicide. So first of all, The way things work in developed societies is they do a needs analysis. What what is the current impact of the economic policies? Now, one of our speakers, the convener of this National Suicide Advocacy Working Group, said something. While mentioning the ministries that should be here today, said including the minister who coordinates finance and economic planning. Because when you sit down to plan the economy, you have to take the mental health of your people into consideration. I came in today. By the time we were going to buy fuel, what I bought last night is different from what I bought in this morning. It had changed. So the government needs to sit down and say and be more compassionate towards her people. You see, when we say things like, don't worry, the pains are only temporary. You will gain later on. Nigerians have the mindset that they have been telling us since so many years. Number one. Number two, those who have died as a result of this, what happens to them? They have already died. So they need to sit down and be more compassionate towards her people. That's one thing. They need to sit down and say, these economic policies, how is it affecting people? Some states have had to say, okay, come 3 times a week. Because it's not realistic. By the time the money goes on fuel, is it not blood he will use to do the work? So that's the issue.